Good morning. It's a beautiful day. Pretty miserable yesterday, but today's supposed to be in the 90s, and that's my kind of weather. A few weeks ago I told you that I thought my favorite book in the New Testament was the book of Ephesians. Well, this morning we're going to talk about my favorite parable, and that's the parable of the talents. It's found in Matthew 25, verses 14 through about verse 30. And remember what a parable is. It's a story, a real life story that Jesus is going to get the people to think about and then make a spiritual application. So in this parable of the talents, we've got to define a few terms first. And so a talent is a unit of silver. And in today's dollars, a talent is worth $400,000. And so when we think about the parable of the talents, we could also say this, it could be the parable of the millions of dollars, okay? So in this parable, this Lord is going to go off to another country on vacation, I suppose. So he divides his goods up among 3 servants, and he judges the ability of those servants, okay? And so the guy that he thinks got the most on the ball, he gives 5 talents, which in today's dollars is $2 million. A lot of change. Then the next guy, he gives 2 talents, and then the guy with the least amount of ability, he gives 1 talent, or $400,000. Still a lot of money. So he goes off on this trip, and there's going to be a reckoning. There's going to be an accounting. So he comes back off the trip, and the 5-talent guy has made 5 more talents. He doubled his money. The 2-talent guy, with his $800,000, doubled it. He had $1.6 million. And the 1-talent guy, he was afraid of his master. He buried it, and he said, "Here's your money back." I've tried to imagine myself in every single role. I've tried to imagine myself in the role of the guy that's got all the money. And who among my associates or friends or acquaintances would I trust $2 million with? And I go off on a trip and I come back. And that's a really, really short list of people. I've also tried to imagine myself as if somebody entrusted me with a sum of money, what would I do with it? And on a small scale, I've got what I call secret money. It's in a little different place where I keep it. And I go and buy things and then try to sell them for more. And you see those 2 Troy horse-built tillers there for a while, and I'd always wanted one. Brand new, they cost $2,000. And I never could afford one because I was too poor. But that was the old days. And so if I could find those things for $200, I would buy them and fix them. And mostly it was just a gummed up carburetor. And I could sell them for $400. So I could double my money. Well, to really do very well with that, you'd have to be doing that, turning those things around like several times, every day, several times a day to do any good of it. So that's a pretty tough thing. And back in those days, how would they work that money? Well, you might plant a vineyard or an olive garden. You might buy a bunch of sheep and hire some shepherds. You might purchase real estate. I guess any number of ways. So challenging, I think, to think about it in those ways. And so really what I want to focus on is this poor individual with not very much ability. And here's what he said in verse 24. "Lord, I knew that you are a hard man, and you gather where you don't plant. And I was afraid and went away and hid your talent, or the $400,000, in the earth. He buried it. And look, here it is. I got it back for you." But his master, he wasn't satisfied with that. He said, "You wicked and lazy servant, you knew that I gathered where I didn't plant." And he said, "You could have at least taken my money to the bank and I'd have my interest for it." Okay? And so he cast him, what does it say? Verse 30, cast him out, the unprofitable servant, into the outer darkness where there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. All right, let's think about it. Our spiritual application. First of all, I mean, the master could have given all the money to the 5-talent guy, right? The guy with the most ability, but he didn't. He spread it out over 3 people, over all his servants. Spiritual application, right here, pay attention. We as Christians all have some level of ability, all right? And sometimes great ability, sometimes moderate ability, and sometimes minimal ability. But whatever level our ability is, we've got to do the most with it that we can. And this 1-talent guy, he his thing was he was afraid of the master. Okay, so as a Christian today, and the master, you know, in this story is going to be God. We can't be motivated out of fear of God. Our motivation should be love of God. So when you're motivated by fear, you don't even do the minimal things. And this guy was so lazy because his master was gone a long time. He just buried that money. At any point, he could have thought, well, here's an opportunity. I'm going to dig some of it up, and I'm going to invest it. Here's a good deal on hammers. I can buy hammers for $2 each, and I'm going to sell them for $3 each, and at least do something with it. But his fear was paralyzing. So as a Christian then, what application for me? We all have abilities, every single one of us. And I like to think, and I developed this rule, the 521 rule, and everything that I deal with, almost everything, I try to question myself, am I the 5-talent guy, the 2-talent guy, or the hapless 1-talent guy? And as an elder in our congregation, and in charge with 2 other elders or shepherds of the flock, am I going to be paralyzed with fear? Oh, we can't do this, we can't do that. God might really rain down upon us and be really unhappy. Or am I legitimately going to do everything that I can do for the good of the congregation, understanding that God loves me and he wants me to succeed? I mean, that's why I look at that. So what about just ordinary Christians? What do we got to do with that ability? Well, you remember in the Sermon on the Mount what Jesus told them? He said, help the sick, feed the poor, visit the one in prison. So what we have to do with our ability is sacrifice our own needs so that we can help other people. And if we're doing that, we're working what God wants us to work, the work of love. And so then the guy that's not doing that, he might be the guy that says, yeah, I believe in Jesus Christ, and I'm a Christian, but I'm really afraid of God, and I'm afraid of the reaction of other people, and I'm going to shelter in place spiritually. I'm just going to say my prayers and sing a song and listen to a sermon, and that's going to be good enough. Let me tell you, it's not good enough. God has expectations that you use your abilities. Isn't that a great parable? I love it. And I've written several articles about it. And so we could really do this a lot longer. But my brother, who is an expert in videotaping, said that I should try to hold these down to 1 minute. My brother, that's impossible for me. And I'm looking at the clock on this video, and we're already almost at 9 minutes. Well, I hope you persevered to the end, and I encourage all of you to use your abilities as the best you can. I'm going to use mine, and I hope this is encouraging to you, and you won't be afraid of God, and you'll get out there and do the things you need to do. Thanks, and have a great day.